See, I've been waiting. Waiting on that time. Feel me if you've been waiting on yours. That moment, it's close. It's close. It's close.
Yeah.
Tired of living day to day like everything's alright. Just waiting on that moment. Waiting on my moment.
And that time is now, ladies and gentlemen. I am Joe Gilpin. Welcome back to the Fighter's Block. I'm joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Jesse Rivas. How you doing this week, Jesse?
I'm conflicted. I'm conflicted emotionally by the news that I just heard. I just heard that Devin Haney and Billy Joe Saunders will be opening up. They will be on the undercard of two YouTubers who outsold most boxers in a pay-per-view bout, Logan Paul and KSI.
I mean, this is the first I'm finding out about it. They're going to make a lot of money that way. This is kind of a circus game, you know? It's obviously I would prefer that the athletes be the ones that get all the attention, but I'm not. I got other shit I can be mad about.
The reason it makes me conflicted is the fact that, like, I looked at these guys, they have billions of YouTube views. I just heard of them when they started boxing.
Oh yeah? No, I had no idea. I still really don't. I think Logan Paul is a little dumber than KS. Was it K? It's not KRS-One. I just always want to say KRS-One.
Well, one dude's from the UK and one guy's from the US, and they do YouTube. They both do YouTube videos with their brothers. And in the first fight, their brothers fought in the undercard, and then they tied conveniently to spark this rematch, and they're turning quote unquote pro. Because this time they're going to fight without headgear.
Every celebrity should end up in pro wrestling. We should at some point, like after we're done with your bullshit, see you just go through tables.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I think that should just be like the natural progression about like, that's how we should cancel people. Like Louis C.K. should go through tables now. And just get like, 3D through a ladder or something.
Hot take. Can we talk about the Louis C.K. situation?
I guess.
All right.
It's a boxing podcast and an MMA podcast.
This is MMA. It's he used the chokehold.
It's self-defense. Lay it on me.
From the story that I hear, he asked the girls, "Hey, can I beat off in my room?" And she was like, "Sure." And then she was like, "Me too." Like, is that?
No, that's not what happened.
Okay.
No, he did it a lot, and sometimes they would say yes. Sometimes they would say no. He would just kind of invariably do it.
But it's in his room, right?
Yeah.
Why did they just leave?
He's blocking the door. He's standing in front of the door.
Okay.
Doing this. Yeah.
That's extra information I did not know.
Yeah.
Okay. I changed my stance on Louis C.K.
Yeah. And then sometimes they would like start trying to act out, and his manager, Dave Becky, who's also Bill Burr's manager, would tank their comedy career and run him out of the business.
Okay, new information, did not know. See, this is why you have to read the articles, and I just kind of pieced it together from interviews.
Yeah, that's why I was watching the Chappelle special. I was like, that's fucking stupid. You know what I mean? And by the way, he's not canceled. What does cancel culture mean? He still does spots. He doesn't get a $70 million Netflix special. Fuck, he's made 10 of them. And he's still touring around the country, and he still has millions and millions of people that will defend him forever. He's fine. No one is. Name me someone who's been legitimately canceled.
Legitimately? Vanilla Ice?
Yeah, but he sucks. There's a difference. We just stopped pretending he was
Milli
good.
Vanilli.
Same thing. Actually sucks. Doesn't actually have a talent. Who's somebody who, for like sexual misconduct or something, has actually been canceled? One person.
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey's back though.
Is he?
Yeah, and his accuser recanted on the stand.
What?
Yeah, I could get into some weird Epstein stuff here, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
You remember he made that weird ass video where it was like something he just put out himself where he was like, I'm back, and he was like drinking a cup that had the Queen's picture on it, and there was a lot of weird coded messagery in there. People like have really broken that down, and they think it's Epstein involved, and like the next day his accuser was like, I recant, I take it back, he didn't do anything. Like it was very...
Was that what John Moxley was trying to do when he did his video of like...
Exactly. That's exactly what John Moxley was trying to do.
That makes sense.
We had one of the biggest fights of the weekend. One of the biggest fights of the year over the weekend. And this is what we're talking about, Jeffrey Epstein stuff.
Yes.
This is my usual weekend.
Biggest fight of the weekend. We had a
nice
fight.
midday card.
Yes.
That doesn't suck.
No,
I
it
do
doesn't.
not hate that. That is not a thing that I hate. Future notice. Why not? Why not? They used to have entertainment in the day, you know? I mean, here in America, half of it was lynchings, but it was just the time. We could go watch a fight midday. At least that is more fair. And speaking of lynchings, they went to the Middle East. That's great. They went to Abu Dhabi. They love to lynch people for shit. Khabib Nurmagomedov fought Dustin Poirier and just fucking ran through him.
I mean, this was an amazing fight. Dustin Poirier could not have been more ready. He was prepared. He was jacked. But one of the most interesting things I saw in his face was the same look I would see when people would finish the first half of the fight with Floyd Mayweather. You understand why he's undefeated.
Yeah.
It looks easy from the outside in. You know you're a world-class fighter. You've been in there with other world-class fighters. And you are yelling at the TV like, I would have done this. I would have done this. Then literally exactly what the world's been telling you about how hard Floyd is to hit. It's the same look that he had when he was like, damn, Khabib wrestled good. Like that. I mean, I know people said it.
Man, he got close on that choke, though, not for nothing. He got close. As a jiu-jitsu guy, he got close on that fucking choke.
Imagine how much history would have changed if he had gotten it.
Man, it's a game of inches. But also part of it, not for nothing, when it comes to, like, defense, it's like you don't know how deep the bottom is until, you know, you reach it. You don't know how good his defense is until he has to tap. Maybe it was actually nowhere close. You know what I mean? Maybe he's got, you know, 6 other tricks he can pull out of the bag there. Some guys are just unfucking chokeable.
I felt like he was too strong, even though, like, the position was kind of there.
He's too aggressive, right?
But I felt like there was a strength difference.
I didn't see a strength difference. I saw an aggressiveness difference and just an angle and just good grappling. But, man, can I say, I feel like the moment got to Dustin Poirier. I feel like he realized it was a different level. I think there's part of that for sure, but I think he didn't compose himself well when the going got tough like that. He really, I feel like, ended up second-guessing things after that first round, and from there, it was just big trouble. Even though he did a little bit better work in the second round. I watched the fight with a bunch of casual MMA fans, but boxing fans, and their running gag was like, and Khabib was said, cancel that shit. As soon as Khabib would touch the leg and start taking Khabib. I bet that didn't get fucking annoying immediately.
So every single time it was like Poirier would get some kind of like stand-up advantage, like when he rocked him in the second round or like stuff.
He didn't rock him. I don't think he rocked him.
But
he
hit him. He had his moments. He hit him. And then Khabib would just grab the back of the leg or the foot, and it was not like he had full control. He would just kind of inch it with his fingers and then control him closer to just kind of emphasize how much stronger he is than Dustin Poirier. Man, he kept that inside position. He had a ton of leverage in so many of those spots, and he just crushed it. As a grappler, is it just his technique is that good, or is he also freakishly strong? He is for sure very strong. There's no denying it. He's very strong. He's very athletic. But man, his game is good. He's one of those guys, he only does a very specific thing, but he does it amazing. All these guys, they start on the ground and they're trying to wall walk up, right? That's been the MMA game since kind of Randy Couture. Used it a lot. Chuck Liddell used it a lot. Get to the wall, use the wall to stand up. Makes sense. Khabib in that has like 5 or 6 stops along the way where he laces the ankle and he beats you up. You get up, he laces the hand, beats you up a little bit more. You get up a little bit more, he clinches, knees you in the back. He has these places where, and then as soon as you stand up, he mat returns you back down and you have to do it 4 or 5 times to get out, and he just wears you the fuck down. Back in the day when Pride and the UFC were viewed as equals, I would always say that was the big difference of why wrestlers were unsuccessful in Pride was because they couldn't use the wall walk. You had to stand. You'd fall like grapplers would always have trouble with the ropes. They would have trouble with the ropes because they couldn't use it for a takedown. The wall walk is defensive. It would be like the guy playing guard. That's why, recently Kenny Florian said that he thought Ryan Hall was a good style matchup for Khabib. I don't disagree. But here's the thing. I feel like he's even stronger because jiu-jitsu guys would benefit from that no cage. Because ground fighting is a little bit better when you're not cornered up against the wall. That's what I'm saying is these guys have to make... Yeah. That's part of what makes Khabib so special. He's taking the modern game plan and he's exploiting a weakness in it.
And so everybody that he has fought, 28 up, 28 down, they all have this same thing. If he can take him down, and he can, then they're going to get up this certain way. Well, he has a counter for that. And he just keeps the fight in his wheelhouse the entire time. And he's freakishly strong for sure.
It's going to be interesting. So going forward, he actually said he does not want Conor. He does not want Khabib, does not want Ferguson. He wants to fight against GSP for charity.
He does. Did you buy his face turn?
Yes.
You did? I didn't buy it. Especially he's buddying up with Kadyrov. Suck my dick, right? That's how I feel. Grow a mustache, like a real man. It's always so weird to me. The Russian, big beard, no mustache. I love the Russian look. Yeah, he says he wants GSP. That fight's not going to happen, right? There's just no fucking way. He's not going to fight.
You don't think it's going to happen?
No, there's no way they're going to have him fight GSP. Because GSP said, if I fight Khabib and I win, I'm retiring. Do you think they're going to take a guy who's as red hot as Khabib Nurmagomedov and have him fight GSP, lose, and then he's got to stick around? Actually, if they were to do that, then you know what he has to do after? Conor rematch.
Yes.
Get his heat back.
How crazy was it? That it was an afternoon fight. I saw it in a bar and it was packed with people there to see Khabib on an afternoon fight. Like he's becoming a draw.
He's a star, right?
A real draw.
He's a real guy. It's awesome. It's expected.
What about Dustin Poirier calling out Conor McGregor?
I thought that was really smart. They're both coming off losses, so it's a little fairer to call each other out. The first fight isn't really indicative. You know, Dustin's such a different guy now. I think, and he just fucking beat up Max Holloway. I mean, he's a guy on the pound for pound list, so I think it's a smart thing to call out Conor McGregor.
And what irony was it then when El Kukui, Tony Ferguson, called himself El Kukui back in, was it before The Ultimate Fighter or during The Ultimate Fighter?
I think before. I think he walked in as El Kukui.
And literally he has become El Kukui of the weight class, which is Spanish for the boogeyman. He really is that guy that nobody wants to fight, nobody wants to call out. He's dangerous for everyone.
Do you blame him?
He's the uncrowned champ.
So right now, I think Tony's on like a 13-fight win streak at 155. By the way, like a division with only murderers, and you know Khabib is obviously on a 28-fight win streak, and they've been booked to fight each other. I think 3 times now. 4 times, but every time it gets canceled for whatever reason. They both keep winning, so the stakes keep being raised, and now we're in this really fascinating spot where it is the most meaningful lightweight fight of all time. It is true titans in this division.
Which I think that's a good thing, because imagine if Shevchenko versus Nunes had held out.
I know, right? It really is. You wish it had. And both these guys are studs. Both these guys can be world champions. Both these guys have so much respect in the MMA world. And Tony actually plays a game that is antithetical to Khabib's style. He'll be the first guy to not fall into the Khabib game plan. Because what Tony does is as soon as you make contact he doesn't like, he either jacks you up with an underhook or he like Granby rolls out. Or he will... If he gets taken down, he doesn't wall walk. He throws up rubber guard and starts raining elbows down. So he makes that contact a liability for these guys.
I will say this, though. Just looking at his resume, he has a great resume. It's a fun resume. But Poirier's resume going into the Khabib fight is actually more impressive.
It is, but he doesn't have the liability of those like knockout losses and that stage where we thought he was done and this is like the second half of his career. Tony Ferguson's been coming, and he's game planned for Khabib several times now.
You know, we are actually watching this. We're actually currently doing this podcast during Ethiopian New Year.
Also, I don't know, man. RDA is a good-ass win. Kevin Lee is a good-ass win. Anthony Pettis is a good-ass win. Cerrone's a good-ass win. There's a lot of good-ass wins on here. Josh Thompson, Edson Barboza. There's a lot of good wins here.
And it's 2012 over there, and he's been killing it since 2012. And I don't want to call it the regular calendar. What is it? The regular people calendar? The non-Ethiopian calendar, 2012.
Well, I don't know what you're saying. Yeah. Sorry.
I lost you.
Oh, when they said the world was going to end? The Mayans?
Yes. Ever since then, Tony Ferguson has been destroying.
Literally, man, once those Mayans got the fuck up out the way, he started killing people. He took a long break. He lost to Michael Johnson by decision, which Dustin Poirier actually did too. And then, yeah.
And Khabib almost did too.
Yeah, Khabib almost did. Michael Johnson really is like one of those guys, man.
He's always kind of like, I feel like because he's lost close fights, he's mentally broken. But he really was up there. He's just like 1% off or 1 decision.
Well, he didn't have the
off.
wrestling. He would always get out wrestled and leg kicked, but his hands were incredible. Yeah, and I mean, 12 fights later, Tony Ferguson is one of the best in the world. So I couldn't be more excited. That's the fight that's gonna happen. Or they're gonna fucking lowball Tony, make him say no, and then turn around and offer the fight to Conor. It's gonna be one of those two guys.
They want the Conor fight.
They want the Conor fight so bad.
Everybody wants the
Well, they
Conor
want
fight.
they not for nothing. They probably want to cash out on Conor, and let's get good money while it's there. Because if we have him go and fight Dustin Poirier, then he can't turn around and fight Khabib afterwards. But he could fight Khabib and then Dustin. Have him work his way down the ladder.
The MMA community wants to see Ferguson.
Yes.
The world wants to see Conor rematch.
Do they? I
Yeah.
feel like it won't sell as much.
I think it would sell big.
I don't know. I feel like maybe people do want to see him get his ass whooped. That is true. I don't think the fire is there in the same way. I don't think.
I think. I mean, it's
I feel like
definitely more money.
the intensity is lost a little bit.
If you
It's
ask
push
a
and
regular
rope.
person in the street, Khabib versus Tony Ferguson, and Ferguson wins, that's like an upset loss because they know who Khabib is, they don't know who Ferguson is. If you put him up against Conor in a rematch, they're like, oh shit, what's gonna happen this time?
Yeah, but I feel like those people just end up like at bars watching the fight. They don't end up like purchasing the fight. I don't know. I feel like Ferguson fight will do big numbers. Who gives a shit? We'll figure it out then. I'm just here for good fights.
Yes.
Do we have anything else over the weekend that you want to talk about from the Khabib card?
Yeah, we had the.
Oh, I went back and I
Edson
rescored.
Barbosa,
Yeah.
Edson Barbosa versus the Irish Dragon, which sounds like a stripper name.
It
the
does.
Irish Dragon, Paul Felder.
The unrankable Paul Felder for some reason.
Yeah.
Paul Felder ends up with the win here over Edson Barboza. It was very controversial fight because a lot of people feel that Barboza, a long-suffering veteran that he is, deserved the win. They thought he won the first 2 rounds, and homeboy Felder won the third. I'll say Edson definitely won the first. Paul definitely won the third. The second round, it kind of depends where you start
Yeah, the
pushing
second
into.
round was really scary. But what did shock me is the fact that the UFC did not even mention that it was close. Didn't say it could go either way. It was like absolutely like, yup, Felder won.
Yeah, sick. Now let's cut to our MMA correspondent, Paul Felder. Working
was
double
literally-
duty, interviewing himself.
That was literally just like, that's my boy. We're just gonna put him over.
Listen, we've all had a friend start acting weird at a party, and we just gotta go with him, and that's our guy. Listen to the resume of Edson Barboza. These aren't wins. These are just guys that he has fought in a row. All killers. Paul Felder, Justin Gaethje, Dan Hooker, Kevin Lee, Khabib, Beneil Dariush, Gil Melendez, Anthony Pettis, Tony Ferguson, Paul Felder again, Michael Johnson, Bobby Green, Evan Dunham, Donald Cerrone, Danny Castillo, and there you start getting into a little bit sketchier. Jamie Varner's down here too. But what a fucking road to hoe.
Jamie Varner beat him, right?
Jamie Varner did beat him.
That was amazing.
That was a crazy fight. He TKO'd him in the first round.
Man, if Jamie Varner's body could stay together.
I know. It's one of the great, he had skills, buddy. That guy could fight. I loved watching Jamie Varner. You remember his fight with Joe Lozon? And he took it on 8 days notice, so he had no gas tank. And he was gassing so bad 3 minutes into the fight, and Joe Lozon kept the pace and ended up tapping him out in the third round. That was awesome.
My brother, who's a casual, would call him the guy who looks like a beaver.
Yeah, he does. He does some, medical thing now, stem cell regeneration or something.
Yeah, I would be into that too if he had my body.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, if anybody's gonna know how to heal up your body, it should be Jamie Varner.
Him
that
and
should
Josh
be
Thompson.
Him and Josh Thompson. Yo, Josh Thompson. That would be a great marketing pitch. Hi, I'm Jamie Varner. My body was shitty, really shitty. Now it's great, something like that. But anyway, man, what a tough. So ultimately, I scored the fight 29-28, Barboza. I did give it to Barboza upon rewatching it. Having watched it live at the time, I didn't think it was that controversial. Maybe I wasn't watching close enough. A lot of people thought it was controversial. But I wasn't scoring it live. I just saw a good fight.
Yeah.
It was a really good fight between two guys. Barboza looks a little bit shop-worn. Paul Felder, I still think, has a little bit more pop in him. What about those fucking back fists, by the way?
Yeah.
He would throw the inside leg kick. You just spin it. It was like a dancer's move or something.
Yeah, it was weird. It's like, I thought that it was controversial. Everyone at the bar thought it was controversial, and I wasn't sure because no one acknowledged it. No one acknowledged it. If you listen to podcasts, no one acknowledged it because everyone's cool with Paul Felder. He's a cool ass dude. If you listen to if you watch the show, the announcers didn't say it.
Yeah, the UFC Tonight kind of thing.
Yeah, I finally had to go ahead and look online, and there was a bunch of people who thought that were, and I was like, I'm not crazy.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Do you have anything else from over the weekend that we looked back on?
The Davi Ramos versus the
Makhachev.
Islam Makhachev. That was a fantastic coming out party for Makhachev.
It was. I didn't think there was as much action as there could have been, but yeah, I was sad that Davi lost.
Yeah, because when I saw the fight and I saw who he was, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna root for Davi. I didn't know who Islam was, and then Islam came in there, and then I started hearing he's like the heir apparent to Khabib. When Khabib retires, he's the next guy up.
It is what it is. Makhachev is great, man. Makhachev is the man. His outside work looked good. His footwork looked good. Everything looked good. The guy's on pace. And Davi was not a good striker.
I heard that when he trains with Khabib, the whole gym stops and watches.
No shit.
They go at it.
No fucking shit. I believe it, dude. I believe it. Anything else on the card? Curtis Blades looked good. Some fun fights on the undercard, but nothing too serious. Cool. Let's look ahead to the weekend. Is there any news that we want to talk about? I keep hearing about this BMF belt. I guess they're giving out a real functional belt for the Diaz versus Masvidal fight. That's cool. I guess it's a little. I don't know.
I like the bad motherfucker belt.
This is all fugazi. This all seems like. I can't think of the word. Teacher's pet bullshit.
No. This is great. I like it. This is the Intercontinental title for the UFC.
They're not going to defend it, though. That's the problem. If they were going to defend it, I would be down for like an action championship.
Yeah, you get Tony Ferguson in there. You get Edson Barbosa in there.
Well, Justin Gaethje fought Eddie Alvarez for that most violent man alive fight, right?
Yeah, I mean Gaethje's fighting against Cerrone, so the winner of that.
Yeah, give them a fucking belt in a jerk off session. I don't know.
It's a fight. You know what it is? It's like when you wanted to see Mr. Perfect fight against Bret Hart, but there was no reason for them to fight. But now there's the Intercontinental Championship.
That's true. Listen, at the end of the day, I love the fight. If they want to put a fucking belt on somebody, put a fucking belt on somebody. Title. There you go. And I found out that they're getting points on the pay-per-view. And that's a big fucking deal. Maybe that's why they're giving out the belt so they can give points. But that's a big fucking financial deal. And Masvidal and Diaz are longtime veterans, and anybody, they can get a big fucking check cash. That's cool.
Do you remember when Zab Judah fought against Paulie Malignaggi for the King of Brooklyn title?
Yeah.
Okay. They made a real belt.
It never ends up being like, you always look back at it and it's never too bad, right? It's never too cringeworthy. Yeah. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid it's going to be cringeworthy.
Do you remember when they stripped Antonio Tarver for his belt, and they stripped, what's his homeboy, Glenn Johnson, because they wanted to rematch each other and the sanctioning bodies wanted them to fight their mandatories, so they fought for a crown?
Man, how badass would USADA be if it was like Diaz test positive after the fight? They're like, we got to strip him of the BMF belt. I'm sorry. We need that belt. You got to send that back in, man. You didn't get it. I'm sorry. You got to get stripped. So that'll be cool. The Rock said he might present it to Masvidal if Masvidal wins. That'd be cool. Masvidal's making some rounds on ESPN. This is a big fight. This is a big fucking fight.
Have you ever heard any of the stories of Masvidal? I think it's like Masvidal and I want to say Yoel Romero fucking every chick in Florida.
That sounds right. I believe it.
Like them going out, and apparently when they go out, they pull like no.
Can you imagine Yoel Romero in a nightclub, just dancing around with those Latin hips? It's unfair. It's not fair. This is why we have an agreement that Latin dudes will be like 5'6". To give everybody else some chance, right? Because when they're like 6'2", and they look like that, like there's nothing any of us can do. It's fucking playing a game on easy mode. It sucks. And Jorge Masvidal, I mean, he's brown Jesus. I mean, come on. So many Catholic girls. They're going to get on the knees.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the week, Jess, do you want to talk MMA or do you want to talk boxing?
Let's start off with the MMA since we're in the MMA kick.
We are. So, we mentioned it earlier. Donald Cerrone is going to fight Cowboy Cerrone. Donald Cerrone is going to fight Justin Gaethje this weekend. And I apparently have been hit as much as these two guys. These are two of the most action-packed fighters in the division. They're facing off in Canada, actually, in Vancouver. Donald Cerrone's always had big problems with pressure boxers. Justin Gaethje's one of the best pressure boxers in the division. How do you think this fight will go?
I think that this will be a phenomenal fight, back and forth. You know what? Cerrone didn't look that horrible against Tony Ferguson.
No, he actually pretty good, right?
Yeah.
But he has lost 5 of his last 9.
Yeah. I mean, you know what he is?
He is what he is.
He's
right?
Michael Johnson, except like with good marketing.
Higher class Michael Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Michael Johnson. Although there's a lot of wins on here that Michael Johnson could get. Listen to his last 9. Lost, got TKO'd by Jorge Masvidal. By the way, his last 9, I'm 2 years ago. Lost to Robbie Lawler by decision. Got TKO'd by Darren Till. It's 3 losses in a row. TKO'd Yancy Medeiros. Lost to Leon Edwards over 5 rounds. Beat Mike Perry. Beat Alexander Hernandez. Beat Al Iaquinta over 5 rounds again. And then he got a doctor stoppage against Tony Ferguson. Man, that's a lot of miles. It is just hard for me to believe he has a chance in hell against Justin Gaethje.
Justin Gaethje has miles.
Justin Gaethje does have miles too.
Justin Gaethje has miles to people he should.
He
have
has city
against.
miles too. Yeah. That's fair. But man, just the style matchup is so bad, and I don't see Cowboy with the same pop. I think he's gonna get washed. I think we're looking at another first round just blowout of Donald Cerrone this weekend.
So do we get Gaethje versus Ferguson, or Gaethje calling out the bad motherfucker championship?
Oh, that would be cool. That's a good question. Who should he call out after
Because
this?
he has that option. Because I mean, put it like this: whoever wins between Masvidal and Diaz, if they say they're fighting Gaethje next, you're excited.
Absolutely.
If
And Justin
Ferguson-
Gaethje could go up.
If Ferguson defends his interim light heavyweight champion or lightweight championship against Gaethje, you'd be excited.
Man, there's really nobody for him to call out. When you look above him in the division, he's at number 5. Cerrone's at number 4. Above that is 3 McGregor. I guess you could call him McGregor. It's a generally good idea, but is he really going to take the fight? Above that's Dustin Poirier, who he already lost to. I guess you could call for the rematch. And above that's Tony and Khabib. There's not a lot of great call-outs for him right now.
Khabib would be a fun fight.
Khabib would be a very fun fight.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah,
I give
would
him
love
a
to
hell of
see
a
that.
shot against Khabib.
I agree 100%. The tenacity, the wrestling skill, the inside work that he has with his boxing, I think that's a really interesting fight.
It's funny that he is a national. He's an All-American, Division I wrestler. When I said that at the bar, people were calling bullshit. People were like, he never wrestles. He's more like a bar fighter. And I was
Nope.
No. Check this out.
From Northern
And I
Colorado,
blew people's
baby.
mind.
Yeah.
Then I told him he was Mexican, and people were like, you know what? That's more believable than he's a Division I wrestler.
He's got like a Canelo kind of coloring, right?
Well, his father's German, and apparently he got all that side.
It looks like it. Man, he really might be my favorite UFC fighter right now. He just motherfucks people. He is coming off of 2 really strong first-round knockouts over Vic and Barboza. I think he gets it done this weekend against Donald Cerrone. Donald Cerrone doesn't do well with pressure boxers who go to the body. It's literally the worst style matchup you could imagine. And Justin Gaethje, for as many miles as he has, he still walks through goddamn fire. That guy has no problem.
Yeah, he's amazing. Well, who's on the undercard there? Who's the co-main event on there?
Oh man, I just clicked away from it. I'll have to go back. If Donald Cerrone wins, it's a total aberration, right? It really puts Justin Gaethje in a bad spot. Eddie Alvarez and Dustin Poirier are kind of okay losses. Like, those aren't the worst losses in the world, especially they're really fun fights.
Looking at the weight class,
Oh, the rest of this card sucks.
why doesn't Khabib ever acknowledge Nate Diaz?
He's at 170.
Oh, okay. Nate Diaz can't make 155.
I mean, I think he could, but he hasn't done it. When was the last time Nate Diaz fought 155? 2015?
Yeah.
It's been a long time. So, he would wreck Nate Diaz.
It's a huge fight.
It is. Although Nate plays guard a little bit more. We haven't seen too many guard players against Khabib, although Khabib would smash through a guard, right? Who are we fucking kidding? A lot of guards. He's not going to be able to figure out, something that Tito Ortiz figured out. Come on.
Yeah.
The rest of this card kind of sucks. Glover Teixeira versus Nikita Krylov is your co-main.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know. Todd Duffy is coming back against Jeff Hughes. Never even heard of Jeff Hughes. Todd Duffy is such a weird character. Then he had to retire because he had some weird, like, copper poisoning or something weird.
Todd Duffy was supposed to be the next big thing.
Yeah, and then he got knocked out in like 10 seconds at one point.
Him and Anthony Hardunk.
Anthony Hardonk was legit. Anthony Hardonk could fucking kick. Michel Pereira versus Tristan Connolly. Uriah Hall is in action versus Antonio Carlos Jr. Antonio Carlos Jr. is a very good black belt. That's an underrated fight, Uriah Hall versus Antonio Carlos Jr. Man, the rest of this card sucks.
All right. Well, we do have some boxing. So we have a night of the prospects. So we have Devin Haney is probably going to whoop some dude's ass to be able to become the #1 contender to fight against Lomachenko. We have Ryan Garcia against a very tough fighter. This is an interesting fight. He's fighting this guy Sparrow, who's he's a good like gatekeeper. If he wins and looks good, he gets Linares next.
Linares will take his lunch money. Okay.
Linares has got some miles.
Yo, Linares would wreck Ryan Garcia. That's a cash out of Ryan Garcia. Right now, go on the record. Tell me about the kind of like person Ryan Garcia is. Because I want to, like, last time we talked about him, you made him seem like you thought he was a cool, nice guy. Maybe that's...
He's been giving a whole lot of shit to Golden Boy because he's, like, the second star right below Canelo. And I use star, like, very, like, with quotation marks. But he does... That's how bad Golden Boy, like, is financially.
You know he's, like, borderline retarded, right? And, like, mean...
You remember Gus?
You talk like you know him, like he's gonna listen to the show. Is there something I need to know? Does Ryan Garcia listen to us? Why are you so unwilling to say bad things about Ryan Garcia?
I think he's a star.
He's not. He's not a star level fighter. He's Sage Northcutt.
We don't know.
He's Sage Northcutt and you fucking know it.
He could be Sage Northcutt.
He is Sage Northcutt if Sage Northcutt acted like R. Kelly. He is.
Is he Sage Northcutt?
Yes, like I said. I'm sorry, dude.
Is he Anthony Pettis in his prime?
Yo, first of all, that's not the best like path that you would want. If you saw the man, a lot of time on that body too. I don't think that I think Ryan Garcia is obviously going to win this weekend, but man, him and Linares, that is a matchup. If they wanted to bring him along gradually, that's not who he would be fighting next.
Well, you know what? If he's really being a pain in the ass, then Golden Boy could be a cash out.
That's what I'm saying. I think he is fucking, and he's the one asking for this kind of shit. I think it's literally like, okay,
but I will say,
you want it so bad? Here's fucking Jorge Linares.
But I've seen Linares lose to fighters who should not have been able to beat him.
Yeah, but they were better than fucking Ryan Garcia. I do not have a high opinion of Ryan Garcia.
We also have... Oh my God.
Are y'all fucking... What is up?
Jaime Munguia is going to be also fighting on that card, and he will be fighting some dude to get a win up because he is rumored to be moving up to 160 to be welcoming Canelo Alvarez back when he's done fighting Kovalev.
Man, I think that's a great path for him, honestly.
Yeah.
Especially because he struggled recently. Get out there, put your hands on somebody.
He's what? He just turned 22 years old?
He's crazy. So he's going to keep filling out. I mean, he's so powerful. I don't know if he'll ever quite reach that peak that maybe we were envisioning right after he broke out and he whooped, what's his name, Smith's ass? Callum? Who did he beat up? Not Callum Smith.
He beat the guy who beat Terrence Crawford to make it to the Olympics.
Yeah. Anyway.
Middle Eastern guy.
Saddam Ali.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's whooped a lot of ass since then. I think him angling towards Canelo, man, if we could get that going as like a Mexican Independence Day weekend kind of thing, like...
Which is this weekend, Mexican Independence Day weekend. The main event that you have for this Mexican Independence Day weekend is, of course, the very Mexican, the very...
He's all racist to all people.
Yeah, the very American hero, the very...
Patriotic
British Tyson Fury.
The very pale, doughy, some would say cool whippy Tyson Fury.
You know, just having the thought going through this, he's a traveler. which he's a gypsy, which isn't really generally like accepted into common British culture, and they're not really like, they travel from like Ireland to Wales to like England. They live in caravans, so he really doesn't have a nation if you really think about it. So
He's a man without a kingdom, without a realm. It's very sad. It's very poetic.
So it makes sense that he fights on 4th of July, a country that he,
Damn, did you know this Avery Sparrow guy who's fighting Ryan Garcia just beat Hank Lundy? That's a good win. He's 10-1.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy, like I said, he's a Philly fighter. He's very slick.
I didn't realize he beat Hank Lundy.
Are you calling upset?
Sure. Fuck you, Ryan.
So here's a question that I have about Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, his nickname, of course, is the Gypsy King. We're allowed to call him the Gypsy King because that is his title, but we can't call him a gypsy because that's racist. Because they're travelers.
Okay, if they're listeners to the show, I apologize. We haven't gotten a fucking letter yet. It's a parchment. Am I gonna get an owl? How are they gonna get mad at me?
It's
like a Harry
dinner.
Is it great? I'm cutting weight for the weekend. Fucking please. Holy shit, that would be amazing. So yeah, Tyson Fury, 28-0. He has one draw with a very contentious draw with Deontay Wilder. And Deontay Wilder is like haunting this like a Star Wars ghost. You know what I mean? He's just up in the clouds, just looking down at him.
Well, this is actually one of those situations where everyone's upset that Tyson Fury is not really fighting anyone, and they're treating this like a pay-per-view. This is like pay-per-view in the UK. It's a big deal over there. It's sold pretty well here in the US. But everyone wishes he had a better opponent. Better opponents didn't want to fight him. He was supposed to fight against Povetkin, and then Povetkin took less money to fight his cousin and get the victory. He was supposed to fight Pulev.
Which is a fucking big dick move, honestly. Fuck you.
He was supposed to fight Pulev, but then Pulev decided, you know what, I have a guaranteed title shot for the winner of Ruiz
One of the Ruiz
versus,
belts, yeah.
Yeah, versus Ruiz versus Joshua, so I'm like, I'm not going to risk that against Tyson Fury. I
get it.
I think it's a bad move. I think...
No, fuck you. Get your world title. You might be able to fight Andy Ruiz for a world title. That's a great idea. Do that.
He has Charles Martin, the former world champion from the U.S.
Air quotes, world champion Charles Martin.
He turned it down. He was waiting on Dillian White. Dillian White's B sample still hasn't come out to prove his innocence, so we're just going to assume he's dirty.
Crazy. It's still on the shelf. Yeah, the results are in the mail.
How many months has it been?
No, he's so positive. It's not even funny. I doubt he might not have even got requested an appeal.
Big Baby Miller's still not clear. They tried.
And anybody below that, kind of a bum.
Yeah.
You know, we start getting into bum territory not long after that. Bumtown, I call it. And so we're left with one Otto Wallen,
who was a former European champion.
He's a fine B-level fighter. Tyson is gonna fucking smoke this guy.
He lost to Joshua in the amateurs, so it may be kind of like a beat the clock challenge.
No, I don't think that. I just think it's literally just get in there and knock a guy out. I mean, is he a fine guy? He's 20-0. He's undefeated. That's cool. He's got like 10 knockouts out of those 20 fights. Tyson is gonna run through this guy.
I don't know why Charles Martin said no.
Right? What the fuck are you doing? You don't have that many big money fights in you. Fuck off, Charles Martin. When are you getting opportunity? Is the Charles Martin phone really ringing off the hook? Is it? Does your manager know something I don't know? I don't hear Charles Martin's name that often.
I heard he's really been living off of that Anthony Joshua victory. He still has so much money from that fight.
I mean,
he still lives in his neighborhood, still does the same lifestyle, just has millions in the bank from that.
Man, he must have a neighbor who fucking can't stand him, right? Hate him so bad. I think this gets stopped within 3 rounds. What do you think?
Yeah, I think within 3. I think this is the Tyson Fury show. He's gonna go in there.
He's gonna do something crazy, on the entrance, some kind of like Rocky Horror something.
This is.
He's gonna reenact 9/11. What do I know?
This is what's very important about world titles in the heavyweight division, because as big as the star as Tyson Fury is, people are still like, nah, I'm gonna wait around for a belt.
Man, straight up, and I get it. Heavyweight world champion, that matters. You get a real, you command some serious shit with that.
Povetkin would have lost, right?
Yeah, straight up.
Because you struggled against Huey.
Yeah. No, he would have 100%. Who on that list? I don't know if any of those guys on that list Maybe Pulev could have given some interesting problems, but everybody else on the list is getting their ass whipped. Dillian White offers some interesting problems, I think.
He's a big money boogeyman.
Dillian?
No,
Tyson? Yeah,
Tyson.
yeah, big time.
Like, you can get paid to fight him, but people still don't want to fight him. He's the Tony Ferguson of this weight class.
Yeah, in a weird way.
Yeah.
In that one is mentally ill and the other is also mentally ill. They are both mentally ill. Man, anything else going on this weekend? Not really, right? Devin Haney. We talked about him. He's going to beat the shit out of some guy.
He's going to fight. Man, Lomachenko has his young guy options because...
I know, it's like a bathhouse where they're just lining up like young nubile flesh and he has to decide which one is going to pound him into submission. Except he's the one doing the pounding. It's like an Asian bathhouse. And he gets to pick his style of Vietnamese woman.
Man, do you think...
I'll take the big muscular one.
If Teofimo Lopez wins, we all know what's going to happen. He's going to pick Teofimo.
Yeah, 100%. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. If Comey wins...
I'm all about path of least resistance right now, obviously. Yeah, man, fuck off.
If Comey wins, then does it go Comey or Haney? That's...
Oh, interesting question. Man, Comey's not really a name. He sounds too much like Richard Comey, and everybody hates that guy. You know, the FBI guy.
Oh, yeah.
So
his name's not so familiar.
Yeah, I would go. Yeah, no, I mean, I would love to see that 6'7" motherfucker get his ass whooped. Are you kidding me? That's a guy reaching back to the beginning of the podcast. Should be going through pro wrestling tables. I think at that point he would probably go Haney.
Yeah.
Because not for nothing, if you're gonna fight Devin Haney, fight him now, right? Don't fight him before he has 6-7 more world-class opponents that he gets really seasoned through.
Yeah.
You know, get in here now. Let's try to strangle Hercules in the cradle while we can.
And you got Gervonta Davis moving up into the weight class.
Ooh, I would want to see Gervonta at this weight once or twice, right? We can build to Gervonta.
He's really short.
He's really short. Is that power going to translate? There's a lot of questions. He's short, but he's fat, right?
Yeah.
Fucking has like a giant fucking Nicki Minaj ass.
Yeah.
We'll see what it is. Do you have anything else for the week, Jesse?
Nope, that's it.
Let people know how to get a hold of you.
Follow me on social media, Jay Rivas on Facebook, and Jay Rivas Comedy on Instagram.
Follow the show. Follow me on Twitter at Bad Tweets. Follow me on Instagram, Joseph M. Gilpin, or Morgino BJJ. Follow the show, subscribe to the show, and we'll be back next week here on The Fighter's Block.